What do you expect from these people? I mean, it just reeks of Sarah Ferguson and her 3 a.m. Home shopping network hits, where she's trying to sell you a blender that you don't need as you're trying to keep your eyes open. I will say that there are new reports out of the US that suggest that Harry and Meghan are incredibly nervous about the possibility of a tell-all memoir from Sarah Ferguson, because according to insiders, several publishers have approached Sarah with lucrative offers to write a new book about her life inside the royal family. And the concern for Harry and Meghan is that that memoir, or a memoir of that scale, would, of course, revisit some of the most controversial moments in royal history, including the fallout from Megxit.
What happens when someone inside the royal circle decides she has nothing left to lose and everything to gain? Because right now, there are reports coming out suggesting that Sarah Ferguson might be considering a tell-all memoir that could shake the royal family once again. Before you go, something at the end might just change the way you see this. If you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, and it genuinely helps us create more of what you love. Stay with us till the end. You won't want to miss this. And if that happens, one couple in particular could have the most to worry about: Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. According to several insiders, publishers have reportedly approached Sarah Ferguson with extremely lucrative offers to write a new book about her life inside the royal family. Not just another royal memoir, but a full insider account, the kind of book that revisits the most controversial chapters in modern royal history, including the dramatic fallout from Megxit. And here's the reason this story is suddenly making people nervous. Fergie isn't an outsider. She isn't a distant royal observer. She was inside the palace walls for decades. She knows the personalities, she knows the tensions, and most importantly, she knows the conversations that never made it to the headlines.
And this was our kind of lead story.
Oh, really?
That Fergie, Sarah Ferguson, no longer, of course, the Duchess of York, she's had her title stripped from her, has been deluged with extremely big money offers to write her Bombshell tell-all tome. And of course, she's been telling friends, oh, she would never stoop to that, but she will stoop to that. She's got no other source of income now. We know she's been desperately jet-setting around the world. She's gone from a £13,000 a night Zurich wellness retreat to a spa hotel, a VIP spa hotel in Ireland. She's been to the Middle East begging for money. She's got no economic options left. No one's giving her money anymore, but she's being offered a lot to write this book. She said she would never do that. She will do it.
Now, imagine what happens when someone with that level of access is suddenly offered millions to write a book. Because insiders say this wouldn't just be a nostalgic royal memoir, it could be something far more explosive. For years, Prince Harry and Meghan have told their version of events through major platforms, from their Netflix projects to Harry's memoir to the now-ended Spotify deal. Through these platforms, they have built a narrative about their experience inside the royal family. And for the most part, that narrative has gone largely unchallenged. But a memoir from Sarah Ferguson could potentially introduce something very different, another version of the story. And that is exactly what has people talking. Because when Meghan Markle first started dating Prince Harry back in 2016, reports suggested that Sarah Ferguson was one of the first people within royal circles to welcome her warmly. Some royal commentators have even claimed that Fergie helped Meghan understand royal traditions and palace dynamics. Which means something important. If Meghan confided in her during those early years, Fergie may know far more about the private side of that relationship than most people realize. And that's where things start to get interesting. Because Sarah Ferguson has written about royal life before, and historically, those books have not always been received well inside palace circles. In fact, one of her earlier memoirs reports...
And that is very bad news for Meghan and Harry, because when Meghan first was going out with Harry back in 2016, and she came over to Britain, Fergie took her under her wing, and the word is Meghan confided all her secrets to Fergie. So those secrets, trust me, are coming soon to a book near you written by the treacherous Sarah Ferguson. It's going to happen, Kinsey, make no mistake.
Well, I mean, we've seen Sarah risk it all previously when she wrote when she wrote one of her other books. I mean, she lost Diana as a very close personal friend because she wrote about Diana giving her warts and borrowing some of Diana's shoes and Diana's shoes giving her warts. I think that there's a bigger scandal, that could potentially be brewing. I think personally that Meghan utilized the York women, I should say, Beatrice and Eugenie, to get closer to Prince Harry. And I think that that's an element of the story that Harry and Meghan leave out. What they're ultimately scared of with a Fergie book is alternative versions of events coming out. Since Harry and Meghan have moved here, they've monetized their version of events, not necessarily the truth, but their truth through Spotify, Netflix.
Reportedly caused tension with Princess Diana after Ferguson included personal anecdotes that Diana allegedly felt crossed a line. So the idea that Fergie might once again reveal behind-the-scenes stories is not impossible, especially when you consider the timing. Over the past few years, Sarah Ferguson's financial situation has been the subject of media speculation. She has long been known for maintaining an expensive lifestyle, and several reports over the years have suggested she has faced significant financial pressures. If a major publisher is offering a life-changing deal,
Harry's book deal, and the royal family's refusal to engage with them has allowed those versions to go largely unchallenged. But Fergie has at least one daughter that has been especially close to Harry throughout the breakdown of the relationship. Eugenie not only went to the Super Bowl with him, we've seen her in Montecito with her husband having dinner with Harry and Meghan. Eugenie lived in Frogmore Cottage amongst their things, amongst Meghan's journals. Like, Eugenie lived there during the pandemic before they were instructed that they had to move out and move all of their things out of there. So I think that whether Meghan confided in Fergie or Eugenie confided in her mother, and we know that they're very, very close, Fergie has secrets, and her financial desperation takes her to dark places, cash for access. Yeah. So I do believe that the Sussexes could and should be worried about this new development.
Yeah.
That kind of opportunity is difficult for anyone to ignore. And that brings us to another fascinating piece of this royal puzzle: Fergie's daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, both of whom have maintained relatively friendly relationships with Prince Harry over the years. In fact, Princess Eugenie was reportedly one of the few members of the royal family who remained in close contact with Harry, even after the royal split. At one point during the pandemic, Eugenie and her husband even lived at Frogmore Cottage, the very home once used by Harry and Meghan in the UK. Which raises an intriguing possibility. If Eugenie remained close to Harry, and if Eugenie is extremely close with her mother, then Fergie could potentially have insights into events that happened long after Harry and Meghan left Britain. Private conversations, personal frustrations, family tensions, the kind of things that never appear in official statements. And this is exactly why some royal commentators believe a Ferguson memoir could become one of the most talked about royal books in years, because it wouldn't just revisit the past, it could reshape the public understanding of the royal drama that has unfolded since 2020. But there's another layer to this story. Fergie is also the former wife of Prince Andrew, and Andrew himself has faced enormous controversy in recent years. Which means if Ferguson decides to write openly about royal life, she would have to make a decision. Does she protect Andrew?
And of course the rest of the royal family as well, but I think principally Meghan is the one quaking in her shoes. And make no mistake, as the Epstein files have revealed, Fergie has no morality whatsoever. She will sell the Sussexes down the river as soon as look at them. She will not hesitate. She desperately needs money now. Her entire life has been based on massive debt, massive spending, massive borrowing, expecting others to fund a lifestyle she simply can't afford, and she's run out of rope. No one will give her any money now, and yet on the table is this massive offer from publishers. I mean, I gotta tell you, if she puts poison pen to paper, I'll read the book. So will millions others. She'll take that money.
We'll read the book live right here for you
we
guys.
will. We'll do it like a kind of storybook for kids. But seriously, she'll take that money. So this is real. This is a serious threat.
I agree. And if it's true that Prince William is done with the York women, he is done trying to pander to Beatrice and Eugenie, and he was fired up over those Epstein reveals that they were spending time with him after his incarceration, then Fergie's got nothing to lose.
Or does she tell everything? Because once you open the door to a tell-all memoir, there's always the risk that everyone becomes part of the story. The Sussexes, the Yorks, even the inner workings of the palace itself. And that's why this potential book deal is creating so much speculation. If Sarah Ferguson truly decides to put pen to paper and reveal what she knows, the impact could be enormous. Publishers would race to secure excerpts. Television networks would fight for interviews. Headlines around the world would explode. And suddenly, the royal narrative that has dominated the past few years might look very different. Right now, nothing has been officially confirmed, but the mere possibility of a memoir like this is enough to send shockwaves through royal watchers. Because when someone with decades of palace access starts thinking about telling their story, history has shown us that the consequences can be massive. And if Sarah Ferguson really decides to reveal everything she knows, this could be one of the biggest royal revelations of the decade. So the real question is this: if that book ever arrives, whose version of the royal story will people believe? Harry and Meghan's or Fergie's? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy deep dives into royal stories the palace would rather keep quiet, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, because the next royal chapter might be closer than anyone expects.